I'm a Folx therapist. Of course you don't have to educate me on trans care.
Black children need to be separated from white children.
And close my eyes knowing Trump is a distant memory who now lives in a prison full-throating all his new boyfriends.
All right, guys, you know what we're gonna be doing? We're gonna be reacting to woke videos, so let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. We're taking it back to our roots, which is reacting to woke videos. I guess these are my top 5 woke videos of the month, and we're gonna cut straight to the chase, get right into it. This first one is at a school board meeting, and it's a transgender woman who is talking about pronouns and gender. You guys know the deal. Let's watch.
I want you to think about it. Why is this such a roadblock? Why have we spent an hour discussing this? Especially, you say you care about the students, but half of you are not sure what gender is, especially transgender. I know the lawyer said transsexual earlier. That's not the correct term. It's transgender. I'm a transgender woman. My pronouns are she, her, and I will only accept those pronouns. I will not.
Whoa, you'll only accept those pronouns. It's so interesting because, of course, this person thinks they understand gender the best. People on the opposing side think they have a pretty strong grasp on gender, given that the science for, all of history has backed up their view on gender. It's just so interesting to watch the confidence, the gall. It's the confidence for me to get in somebody's space, establish a brand new identity just out of thin air, and then tell them that they don't understand gender. And not only that, but you will not be referred to, you will not accept being referred to as any other gender, which is just wild and obviously not fathomable, right? People can refer to you as whatever they want. You don't really get to dictate what other people do with their language, although we're ushering into that territory. We're moving in that direction where it probably is going to become a matter of legality, a legal matter as to whether or not you can refer to somebody by the pronouns of your choice, or it has to be the ones of their choosing. Very interesting.
Not be addressed any other way. And in the workspace, I'm protected by that. Our students should be too, especially when they're not over 18, don't have a voice. So I'm just imploring you to go beyond what, just really consider, what is this fight really about? Why is it such entrenched? I know we hear a lot about religious liberty, and quite honestly, I grew up in Christian education all through college. I don't remember any of my doctrinal classes mentioning only male and female, and that's the way it should be. If you feel it is, awesome, good. You get to believe that. You don't get to impose those beliefs on anybody else. And that's actually what religious liberty is that your right to believe that is protected, but the other person that identifies as something else is.
Right, you're not exactly wrong. I'm saying this as somebody who is actually not religious. I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form, yet still, I guess, will find myself agreeing more with people who are coming at this, I guess, from a religious perspective. Although, I don't know, the science is the science on gender. There's really nothing else to say about it. Yes, everybody has the right to believe what they want to believe. You are then taking on this position of not only do I get to believe what I want to believe, but I get to impose that on you as to how you can refer to me, how you can have conversations, what language you're allowed to use. So who is really infringing on the other's rights here, and especially their rights to free speech? It's not the people who believe that there are two genders. It's actually you who is trying to compel the speech of other people. So let's make that make sense, because the math is not mathing thus far.
Also is right to be protected. So I guess I'm here to say is, with Oshkosh Pride, we're paying attention. And we're going to be involved in this conversation if it keeps on going. But we've spent an hour on this conversation when clearly there are other issues on this agenda. There are other issues that we need to be doing for students in the area. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, a lot of people, this video went viral because people were making fun of this person, of their appearance, of their identity, all these different things. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say that you have every right to lead your life how you want to lead it, and so do we. so do I. So if I refuse to engage in your belief system by referring to you by a certain set of pronouns, by uttering these just fictitious statements about gender and your ability to transition gender and choose a gender of your choosing, that's my choice. That's my refusal. Just as much as you refuse to engage with, in my opinion, reality. Oh, okay. We're going to move on. Some people are going to therapy these days, and I guess there is a special option of therapist called a Folx therapist. That is Folx therapist. And I'm going to go out on a limb here because I think I know what Folx means from my previous time on the left and engaging with organizers and leftists and protesters and all these things. Folx is like an umbrella term for people of any background, of any identity, instead of saying ladies and gentlemen or men and women, since these terms can be seen as derogatory if you're saying them to the wrong person, or as misgendering if you're saying them to the wrong person, or they're just not indicative of the person's identity because we have non-binary people or gender fluid people. There's so much going on these days. You can use the word folks to refer to people. That was the word in my experience. Let's see if it's changed at all. And this is a Folx therapist.
I'm a Folx therapist. Of course I want to hear about all the members of your polycule. I'm a Folx therapist. Of course your emotional support dog, cat, bird, or reptile can come to session.
Hell yeah.
And of course I'm going to want to know their names and pronouns.
Hell yeah, I want to know your reptile's pronouns. Are you kidding me? What is your reptile's pronouns?
I'm a Folx therapist. Of course I know you probably did that thing that you said that you weren't gonna do. And of course I support you anyway.
Right. I know that therapists are supposed to like support you anyways, as in they're there to levy you support and sort of help you in a transition to better behaviors. But maybe we shouldn't be so supportive of people making the wrong decisions. I don't know. Isn't that part of therapy? Therapists, hop in my comments and let me know. All over. Although there's all different types of therapy these days, and some of it I look at and I'm just thinking, how is that helping anybody? This might be one of those cases. I'm sorry.
I'm a Folx therapist. Of course I'm going to understand your meme references. I'm a Folx therapist. Of course I use they them pronouns.
No, of course, of course. Of course.
I'm a Folx therapist. Of course I'm neurodivergent affirming. I'm a Folx therapist. Of course you don't have to teach me about your specific identities. And of course I want to know how those identities have impacted your unique experience. I'm a Folx therapist. Of course I want to hear about your moon water and crystals.
Whoa.
I'm a Folx therapist. Of course you don't have to educate me on trans care. I'm a Folx therapist. Of course I'm going to tell you how incredibly proud I am of you.
But what if you're not? Like, are you... See, this is like... This is the thing. You know, a lot of people are on the therapy train. They're on the therapy bandwagon these days. And I will admit that there are plenty of very valuable therapists out there, plenty of very valuable therapy techniques, some that I've like read about or listened to on different podcasts. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally valid. The kicker is there are other forms of therapy that I look and other therapists that I see and I think there's no way in hell you're helping anybody. In fact, you actually might be harming them. You actually might be putting them down a more destructive, negative path. And with this Folx therapist, I think that's one of those examples here. I can't see how any of this is particularly constructive or how it's going to lead to a healthier lifestyle. In fact, I think it's going to lead to the exact opposite. It's going to lead to people being confused about their identities or affirmed in an identity that is not necessarily based in reality. You're saying you want to know their dogs and cats and reptiles' pronouns, which we gotta be real. Not a thing, okay? That is not a thing, and maybe we shouldn't go there and start projecting our own, I guess, curiosity and confusion onto the animals around us. And this sort of undercurrent of this person wanting to blindly affirm and blindly support and just blindly give praise and proudness, proudness, that's not the right word, to anything that their client is doing shows that maybe you're not in the best position to be a therapist. And maybe what you're doing is taking something that you felt like you were robbed of in childhood, just going out on a limb here, which may be support of your identity, maybe a few hugs you didn't get, a little bit of love that you didn't receive, and now you're taking on this position of a therapist in order to do that for other people. But sometimes this energy is not what other people need. Sometimes they need to be sat down and told with a straight face, hey, I think you're on the wrong path, and maybe we can get you on a healthier path by not engaging in this ideology. Maybe, just maybe. But y'all let me know if y'all have seen a Folx therapist and it has been positive for you. You know why you might need therapy? You might need therapy if you work at NASA and you've been subjected to their DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion training, because there are some wild ideas in that training, and we're gonna watch a clip that has been circulating on the internet right now.
And in doing this work of examining my own intentions and my own actions and their impact, I can see that there's so much more that I could have done to make the projects I've led equally welcoming to Black, Indigenous, and people of color as the white people they have engaged. I feel a lot of shame and regret about that. And I know that without looking head on at what I've done and not done, I won't be able to do better. So I'm looking forward to today's event and to this whole series as steps in my personal and professional journey to make my work more anti-racist and therefore more effective in reaching my aspiration.
And this may, you know, I've read a lot on anti-racism, and I gotta be honest, I'm not a fan of the rhetoric. I'm not a fan of the theories surrounding anti-racism. And I feel bad for women like this who are convinced that, you know, the work that they're doing is somehow racist or is somehow marginalizing people of color or natives. I don't remember the exact examples that she gave, but she spoke about feeling a lot of shame about the work she's done and how it's impacted people of color. She seems like a perfectly sweet lady. Obviously, I don't know her. She could be a raging racist out there at NASA in the work that she's doing, but she doesn't strike me as that, yet she's somehow convinced now of this shame that she should feel based on the work she's doing. And I'm going to go out on another limb here and say you're probably not racist. In fact, you're probably not marginalizing people of color or people of other protected identity groups. You're probably doing just fine. And a lot of what you're hearing in these DEI programs is nonsense. But let's actually look at the nonsense, because they have a graph here and they're going to show you what they believe white supremacy culture is. And they're going to read some of it. And this is wild. This has also been featured in very prestigious places. The Smithsonian did an entire, I guess, what should we call it, exhibition on white supremacy culture. And these were some of the things that they wrote.
Maybe a review for many of you, but these are those different characteristics that you probably see coming up a lot in our workspaces, especially in the practice of science. Perfectionism, a sense of urgency. I'm sure all of us are feeling a sense of urgency about some of the deadlines that we maybe have right now. The idea of power hoarding, the idea of individualism over collectivism, quantity over quality, either or thinking. And so all of these things can really limit the way we go about doing our work, and they can really limit the way we are able to connect with communities that come from different cultural backgrounds that don't value these things.
Okay, catch the last part that she said, that come from different cultural backgrounds that don't value these things. And now we're going to go through some of the things that are listed here. It says white supremacy culture, perfectionism. So some of the different cultural backgrounds that don't value things like perfectionism. They're saying also, I'm going to go through some of the maybe good ones or normal ones. Objectivity, which anybody of any background can believe in. That's part of white supremacy culture, apparently. A sense of urgency, which we all might feel in our daily tasks, at our work, when we're just dealing with things that have a deadline and need to get done. That's white supremacy culture. Individualism, if you have a strong sense of individualism, apparently that is white supremacy. Ugh, gosh, okay. Now, let's read through some of these other things that they have attributed to whiteness. Let's see. Defensiveness. Defensiveness is apparently a white characteristic. Either or thinking, as she said, is apparently a white characteristic. Power hoarding and paternalism is apparently white characteristics. It's so racist. I don't even know where to begin, but I will say these sorts of traits, qualities, aspirations, feelings are felt by people of all different backgrounds for a multitude of different reasons that have nothing to do with white supremacy or white supremacist culture. And it is very racist to attribute these values, feelings, ideas to white people and say that they are a result of white supremacist culture. Not only is it racist and just wild, it's wrong. It's wrong. So maybe we should not show this to the employees at NASA. Maybe not. It also shouldn't be at the Smithsonian. It just shouldn't be said ever, at all, ever again. We're gonna move on. Speaking of white supremacy. No, I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna call Chelsea Handler a white supremacist, even though she did tell her ex-boyfriend, 50 Cent, that if he didn't realize, that he needed to vote for Joe Biden, that he wasn't black. If you're going to support Donald Trump, you're not black. I need to remind you that you are black, is essentially what she said. She said she needed to remind him of his race so that he knew who to support. Well, now she's making a video about, in her mind, the eventuality of a female president, and that is, of course, Kamala Harris. Let's see what Chelsea Handler has to say about a day in the life living under a female president.
This is a day in the life of having a female president. I wake up as early as possible, and in honor of our new president, I strap on my coconut bra. Then I go out to my garage, put a piece of glass on the ceiling, and smash it with a hammer, just to remind myself how great things are. I text my nieces and tell them not to worry, that a bunch of creepy Republican men aren't keeping a chart of their menstrual cycle. Our Pikachus are protected again. I volunteer as a crossing guard at the local middle school, not only to ensure students can safely cross the street, but also to keep an eye out for Matt Gaetz. I then go to my book club where we're reading every book banned by Florida. Next, I have a little dance party to my new favorite song, the J.D. Vance I'm a Never Trump Guy. Because I no longer have to worry about my rights being taken away, I decide to take Doug on a quick trip to outer space so he can go for a walk on the moon. And don't worry, we get there safely because Elon Musk didn't make our spaceship. At the end of the day, I pop my favorite edible and close my eyes knowing Trump is a distant memory who now lives in a prison full-throating all his new boyfriends. And I sleep like a baby. And that's a day in the life of having a female president.
I don't really have much to say to that. Just wasn't funny. Just seems to be the general thing with Chelsea Handler. There's not really much open for commentary there. I'm sure many of you will have much to say about the things that she featured in this video. But yeah, she's just not funny to me. And her view of Republicans and this demonization of the other side is just so tired. And she really, instead of just going and being combative towards people who disagree with her, should do some maybe internal looks at her own beliefs, at her own life. And you know what? If you're fulfilled in it, which she claims to be, I'm more than happy for you. I hope that you are fulfilled and happy in everything it is that you do. I'm just not convinced. I'm just not convinced by the things that you say, the things that you do. Good luck. Good luck, Chelsea. Have fun. Okay. This last one is a TikToker who believes that schools should be segregated. Yep. I always say we're ushering ourselves back into segregation with all this diversity, equity, inclusion stuff. The affinity groups where you're separating kids in school by race in order for them to have certain discussions. And this person's advocating that we bring back segregation. So let's hear it.
I'm going to be real, and I don't give a what anybody say. Black children need to be separated from white children and any other race when it comes to education, because no other race, especially white people, will tell the black person's history truthfully about where they come from, who they are, and what they are. The white person will only suppress the black person's history to maintain their genetic survival, to bring about a news story that doesn't even exist.
Wait, what? Chat, what did he say? I don't have no idea. So no other race, he said, is capable of telling the black story like a black person is, which just, I don't know, flies in the face of all, historical study and research. There are plenty of people of all different backgrounds who can tell a multitude of different stories when it comes to history and can do so with quite a bit of accuracy. It really doesn't matter what your background is when it comes to teaching people history. We just hope that whoever you are, you're giving the full scope of what happened and all the different different perspectives from the time, yada, yada, yada. You know the entire speech. Black kids do not need to be separated. It's in fact not what happens in real life. It's not what happens in civil society, and therefore should not happen in our schools. There is no reason to segregate on the basis of race. Yet that is the world that we are living in these days, where people truly believe that in order to protect students, we need to have these like diversity, equity, and inclusion offices. We need to have multicultural spaces for people of color. We need to separate them during certain discussions. No, we don't. You know, the best thing that we can do is be what America is, and that is a melting pot, and bring all different types of people together to sit down and have discussions about anything and everything under the sun that is appropriate to be talked about, especially within the confines of a school. We can't keep moving with this Black victimhood narrative. And I can guarantee you, there are not white people who have some sort of secret plot to go into history class and teach history in a way that protects their genetics, I guess is the argument that he's making. Guarantee you, it's not happening. You can rest easy. It is not occurring. I don't know what else to say, guys. I can't stomach anymore. Those were the 5 videos. You'll have to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I gave you mine. If you disagree with anything I said in this video, duke it out. I encourage healthy debate, so let's do that, but do so respectfully. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every single day. And if you find any other woke videos like this you feel like I should react to, DM them to me, send them to me on X, Instagram, any other platform that you follow me on, because I'm always looking for more of these, even though they wear me down by the end of the video. I'm here for the ride, and I hope you are too. Guys, rest easy. More to come. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Yeah, you better.